Hi, I'm Ryan. If you've ever needed to collect information online, say from a sign-up sheet, a survey, or a simple RSVP, Google Forms makes it surprisingly easy for you to do so. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to use it, taking it step by step, so by the end of this video, hopefully you'll feel comfortable when you do need to use it. So let's get started. Let's open up a browser and go to forms.google.com. And here we're greeted to a page that's very similar to Google Docs or Google Sheets. This is Google Forms. Google Forms is a free tool that lets you create online forms where people can type answers, choose options, and submit information, and all of their responses are saved and sent automatically to you once they complete the form. So we begin by looking at a few templates that Google has designed for us. If we click on Template Gallery, we can choose from personal templates. We need someone's contact information. We need to find a time, RSVP, things like that. We have work templates, event feedback, time off request, work request, job application. We have education templates for, say, if we're teachers or if we're teaching someone in some capacity. We can have a blank quiz, an exit ticket, a worksheet, a course evaluation. So we got a lot of options there. But to keep it simple, let's just start with a blank form. Okay, so here we go. This is our foundation. Let's begin by naming the form. We do that right here. So we can highlight that text, and let's just say this is a simple contact form. We can also bold the text if we want by just highlighting it and then bolding it. You can italicize it, underline it, create a link here. Okay, so we've named our form. We can also give a form description. This is a contact form for the upcoming surprise party. Okay, so now they know what information they're filling out and why. Alright, so now let's get to our first question. If we click in that area, what is your name? Question mark. So Google will automatically see what we just typed and then give us a recommendation for what this field could be. So right now it's set to short answer. If we click in this box, we have a number of different options of what they could do for this question. So right now, short answer is probably the best. So they would just type their answer below. We have a few different options here that we can include. We could click this button and add an inline image, so it would add a picture within the question area. We can do that especially if we want to get more creative with it. Or we can select that this question is required. So whenever you fill out a form and it has that red asterisk and you have to fill that question out in order to complete the form, well, that's essentially what you're determining by toggling this on or off. So we're going to toggle it on. This way they have to input their name. Okay, we've got a few options here as well. Let's say that we've got a question that we want to use a few times. We can click this button and we can duplicate the question so that we have multiple instances of that, which is very helpful depending on how you want to work out your form. Or if we just don't want to do that, we can click this button and it deletes the question. Or another thing is these 6 dots here at the top, we can click that and then move the question around if we want to rearrange the order of the questions. Now we have just a few more options when we click on this ellipsis here. We can also show the description for this question. Say if we needed to give a little bit more clarifying remarks about why this question is important, whatever it may be. Or we can show response validation. That's a little bit more technical and advanced, but it is there just so that you know for the future. So now we know how to adjust our first question, but what options do we have for our form in terms of what to put in it? Well, if we click back in this box, we see that we've got short answer, great for what's your name. We also have paragraph. So say, what if we asked, what was your experience like at our last party. Then this would invite the user to put in a long answer text. They can write a paragraph and tell us what their feedback was about the last party that we threw. What's another option? Multiple choice. Now these are fun. So let's say we asked, how many guests will be coming with you? Here, we need to know how many people are coming, but we need to give them a multiple choice. Let's say 1 through 4. Let's keep it simple. So we can click on option 1 and just type 1, hit enter, 2, and it automatically gets it for us, 3, 4. There we go. Now, just as a side point, this little icon that pops up, if you ever see that, then that means that you can add an image in line for that option. Sometimes images work great as options rather than text, or vice versa. Okay, so that's multiple choice. What's another option? Checkboxes. So let's say, what if our question was, what will you like as your main course? So let's say option 1 was chicken, and option 2 was fish, and option 3 was pad thai, and option 4, I'm getting hungry, was pork. Let's say that. So now they can choose what they would like as their main course. They just check one, and that's it. What other options you got? Drop down. Instead of a checkbox, it could be a simple drop down where when they are asked, what would you like as your main course, they could drop the options down, check one, and then they're done. Okay, so what's the next one? File upload. So let's say at the previous party, they took some pictures, maybe took some pictures with some guests, and you would like to have some of those to put in a newsletter or something. So if we check file upload, it will let respondents upload files to Drive. So files will be uploaded to the form owner's Google Drive. So that's your Google Drive. Respondents will be required to sign into Google when the file upload questions are added to a form. Make sure to only share this form with people you trust. So if they upload pictures, it will go directly to your Google Drive, and that way you can collect them in there. But again, like it says here, make sure that you only send this to people you trust, since they will be uploading files directly to your Google Drive. What's another option? Linear scale. So what exactly is a linear scale? Well, this is where we would ask, how satisfied were you with the last party? So for 1, unsatisfied. Is that how you spell that? I hope so. And then 5, very satisfied. It's early. So if they select 1, they're unsatisfied. If they select anywhere between that and 5, they're getting towards very satisfied. You've probably seen questions like that before. Helps us to gauge how happy they were with the previous party. That's what a linear scale is. A rating, simple 5-star review. Very nice, very easy. So the next option is multiple choice grid. So let's say our question was, what time do you want the party to start and end? So we need multiple questions with multiple options. So what if we put for row 1 to start, and then in the column we can put the time. So let's say 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and so on and so forth. And then to end could be our next row, 9 p.m., and so forth. So now they're going to have an option of what time to start it and what time to end it. Now this is the kind of thing that it's really nice to see the finished product. So we're going to jump ahead just a little bit. If you go up to the top right hand corner, There's a few options up here. Let's just focus on this one right here, this one that looks like an eye. If we click that, it allows us to preview what the finished form looks like. So this is what it looks like. What time do you want the party to start and end? To start, they can select what time they want, and then to end, what time they want. So a multiple choice grid, very, very nice. I like that one a lot. So let's go back to our choices. We had a multiple choice grid, or we can choose checkbox grid. So rather than them just selecting one, they can select multiple. So this doesn't really work with this specific question, but you get the idea. And then we've got a few more options. We can select to enter a date. So say, what day will you be arriving in town before the party? That kind of thing. We can select a time. What time will you be arriving before the party? That kind of thing. So here we see that we have a number of different options for what we can add to our forms. It's a pretty robust set of options. But we've got a few other things that we can do. In this box that appears to the right of your options, you have this first symbol here where we can add a new question to our form. We have this symbol here where we can import questions. Say we use a form regularly, say for our students or for a specific program that we're running. We can save that form and then import the questions each time. That way we don't have to recreate them. We can add a title and description for each question. Helps us to personalize it a bit more. We can add images. We can add videos. So say there's a specific video that describes what we're going to be doing. That's helpful. Here we can add different sections. So say at the top of the form, we just need their contact information, who they are, when they'll be arriving, that kind of thing. But then at the bottom of the form, in another section, we would like their responses regarding the party itself. What kind of music do they like? What kind of food do they want? We can split the form up that way. On the upper right-hand corner of the screen, we have a few more options. We can customize the theme of the form. Now this is really nice. We can change the header style, so the header text. So we could change the header text to impact, and now it looks a little bit more bold. We can change the question text, the text itself, or we can add a header image. Now Google gives a lot of options in the beginning, and we can look through all of them, but just to keep it simple, I'm going to pick this one right here. But just so you know, you can also upload headers and use headers from your Google Photos as well. But I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to click Insert. So now what's happened is that that picture has been added to the form, and the colors of the background and the questions themselves have been adjusted to match that specific kind of theme. We can adjust that by going down here and picking some different colors, which is nice. And we can also adjust the background a little bit more. So we can play around with our theme that way. So what other options do we have up here? We can undo and redo, very helpful. We can copy a responder link. So if we wanted to finalize this form and send the link to those who are going to be going to the party, we can click this button, and then that would allow us to copy the link and then send it to them. We can also share the form, so we can click that and add specific people to the form, and then that way they can input their responses that way. So we can copy a link, or we can add people to the form so that they can either fill in their responses, or they can even edit it with us if we want them to. So this is all great, but we still have not published our form yet, which means that it is not able to be filled out yet. In order to do that, we have to click Publish. When we do, we're going to get some options. What it's going to say is currently it's set up so that responders who can respond to the form is anyone with the link. So if we copy this link and send it out, whoever gets that link can enter into the form and fill out the information. So if we want to change that, we can click Manage and then set it to Restricted, to where only certain individuals can fill it out. We can do it that way. But when we're done with these options, we can click Publish. And now it is live. And if we just want to copy the link, we can click that button, copy this link, and then we can go ahead. Now, you'll notice that this link is very long. We can also choose to shorten the link, and it makes it a little bit more compact. Sometimes it just looks better that way. We can press copy, and we're good to go. So, a few final options before we close up. This ellipsis here allows us to make a copy of the form itself, or maybe we just didn't like it, we want to move it to trash and start over. We can print the form. We have a few different options. Okay, so now that's completing the form and publishing the form. We're off to a great start. But now the question is, well, how do we get the responses from our form when someone fills it out? Well, here's a few options. One, we could just go to forms.google.com like we did in the beginning, click on this form. Here, I'll show you how to do that now. So we could just go to forms and then click on this form and then go to responses right here in the middle. And here we'll be able to see the responses that each individual sends in. Or we could do something else. So let's say that we're trying to get a lot of information from a lot of different people. Maybe it's a contact form that we're sending out to hundreds of people for some reason. We can also link it to sheets, which means that whenever the information comes in from the form, it will automatically be uploaded into a Google Sheet. Sometimes it's so much easier to look at the information within Google Sheets. So if we click this button, we can choose to create a new sheet or select an existing spreadsheet. So if we just create a new spreadsheet, we can input the name here. Let's say party contact form, and then it will automatically create that sheet and then input all the responses there. Or we can choose to select existing spreadsheet. If we do that and hit select, it'll open up Google Drive for us and allow us to pick a specific spreadsheet to put all the information into. Say we had a party contact form that we've been using for every single party, and we want to keep all the information in one place. So we have those options on how to get our responses. And this last option here, settings, gives us a few final things that we can do. We can make this a quiz. So say we're a teacher and we're trying to make the quiz a little bit more fun. It will assign point values, set answers, and automatically provide feedback. It can make it a little bit more fun. Responses, manage how responses are collected and protected. We can have a few different options there. We can choose how the form is presented, and we can choose form defaults. It's fun to look into whenever you get time. So as you can see, Google Forms is really a useful tool, and it doesn't have to feel intimidating. Once you understand the basics, it becomes very, very helpful. So why don't you give Google Forms a try the next time that you need to create a contact form or maybe a party contact form. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if it did help you, feel free to subscribe. So I hope to see you again soon. And if you would like more resources from Digital Trail Guide, please see the top pinned comment below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ryan, and I'll see you on the trail.